Hey, it's Dave Altavilla for HotHardware. I'm here at CES 2017 with my compatriot Marco and Kelly here from Lenovo, who's going to show us some new exciting stuff in the gaming realm first. I guess the Legion series, right?
Exactly. So we've actually changed our branding with our gaming laptops here, starting at CES. So they used to be called IdeaPad, Y Series Gaming. Now we've changed it to Legion. We think that kind of gamers identify a little bit more with that kind of edgy, cool name. So yeah, we changed that. We're introducing the Y720 and the Y520 laptops. So there's a couple differences between these. With the Y720, you're looking at up to a 7th gen i7 processor. With the 520, you're looking at the same, but there are some differences with the graphics cards. So you're going to be able to do a GTX 1060 in here, while in here you're going to get a GTX 1050 Ti. So a couple differences. Some other kind of cool hardware things that we've added. For example, on the Y720 here, we have this gorgeous RGB backlighting on the keyboard. And then we've also added an internal Xbox One receiver, so you don't have to have any USB ports being used or anything, dongles. But,
Wireless, yeah.
And then...
very cool RGB lighting going on.
Of course.
Is the Xbox controller also in the 520? Or just the 720?
Just 720.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. And there's a couple cool hardware things that we've actually done to the Y720 here that I can show off. So one of the things we have added here is this Lenovo Entertainment Hub. So this is a piece of software here that helps curate games, movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. And it actually allows you to do a couple really cool tricks in VR. So I'm going to go in here now and I can pull up Angry Birds. And you'll see it gives me an option to play in VR. And so I'm going to get that to load up. And you'll actually see with my VR headset here that I have running, have an HTC Vive. And it is actually running a movie in a faux movie theater environment.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's wild.
What are you seeing in there?
You can see
So
the dust
it looks
boats.
like I'm sitting in a theater with seats in front of me, and there's the
Oh, yeah.
screen that you'd expect up front. That's wild.
And you get to watch, you get to play Angry Birds and watch it in the theater, is that it?
Yeah, and since we're the first meeting, I won't catch the plague from touching this headset.
Awesome.
And since this also is the first laptop with Dolby Atmos technology, you're getting that 360-degree sound that you would get in a movie theater as well. So another thing with this is it is capable of VR upscaling. So what that means is it's taking your old games that weren't built for VR, but they're bringing them to new life, so you'll actually be able to play them in VR settings. So it has that the option here, VR upscaling. So I'm going to select that. Make sure my Xbox controller is on. So with this, we have our game loaded in VR, and I'm actually going to. Let's see, I've got to keep the headset still.
Oh, I got the headset still, sorry.
Yeah, just because it's... Alright, there we go. So get this loaded. So this is not a game that was built in VR. Instead, we're able to port it to VR upscaling. So as you can see, you're going to look around, and that's controlling where the reticle is on the screen.
Yeah. Turn off the lights. You guys get to see it on the screen? Yes.
Yep.
So I'm seeing basically what's right on the screen there.
And let's see. Let's get this controller.
So I pull the trigger with the Xbox controller?
It's still coming on though.
Okay.
Come on.
So what's the view like in there? You're panning around pretty naturally.
It looks exactly
Yeah.
what's on there.
And can you, like if you take a step forward, do you move forward?
No, I think that's what the Xbox controller's for.
Okay. So it's view.
But you can still get an idea. It's not going to give you room scale VR or anything like that, but it still gives you that, that VR, seated experience.
Yeah, and you
If you're
can
looking for that first-person games.
you can look around and have that reticle, as fast as your head can track. That's pretty cool.
We're building this in partnership with Microsoft, and the idea is to bring VR more, like today when you look at VR, it's mainly for gaming, right? Like hardcore gamers, right? We're trying to create a VR experience for the more average Joes like myself. Like I would use it for entertainment, for casual gaming, for shopping, social media, and so on and so forth. And the biggest difference really is three things: content and the hardware, and pricing is a big thing. So on the content, what you would expect out of the box is that you would be able to use a lot of the applications on Windows, and they're bringing that onto the holographic platform. right? Another thing is that some of the applications on the HoloLens platform will also be ported into this product, right? And from Lenovo, we have, as you already saw while the Lenovo Entertainment Hub, which is basically our portal for all the VR types of content, right? So we're going to build on top of that. And then we're working with a lot of partners to design and create VR, like ground up VR content, right? So that's what you're going to expect out of the box in terms of content. From the hardware side, the biggest difference between this and some of the products today is the tracking system, how we do room scaling. So for instance, Vive is using the lighthouses, so you have to set up like towers, right? Yep. This is actually using inside-out tracking, wherein we use cameras that are outward-facing. So obviously there's two benefits. The first benefit, obviously, is setup. It's much simpler. Out of the box, it just works. The second thing is that since the cameras are facing outwards, you could do some sort of like augmented reality type of experiences. So where like you can imagine I'm seeing my living room and I'm putting like content on my wall, on the table, top of the table, and so on and so forth. In terms of design, you can see that we added a hinge here because there's a lot of concerns over like, you know, if you have glasses, for instance, very hard to put on. So this basically essentially you just pull up and then you wear it and then you close it down. Right? Similar to what the PlayStation VR, I believe, is doing. We also added an adjustable strap. So once you put it onto your head, you just like
clamp it on.
Yeah, exactly. It actually looks like actually feels like you're sitting down in that chair, but that's the experience. But it's really cool. Like it's very easy to like fit in. The last part is actually weight. I don't know if you guys have held this, but this is like 40% lighter than your average VR headset. So it's around 350 grams, thereabout.
And are these anything special with the cameras? Are they 3D cameras? Or is it just because you're doing stereoscopic?
So, because today we're still in development, the final specification of the cameras are not yet, there. However, they are not 3D cameras. I could at least say that.
Gotcha.
Cool.
And what's the product name again, or the model name?
So right now we still don't have a marketing name as we speak, but we're calling it Lenovo VR headset for now.
We have, so this is running Alexa's API. So anything that Alexa can do, these are going to be able to do as well. So the controlling of smart home devices, any skills that she knows, anything that she can learn, this will be able to learn as well. So we're pretty much just taking all of Amazon's work that they've put into the Alexa kind of infrastructure and putting our own hardware spin on it. So with that, this is actually going to be priced $50 south of where the Amazon Echo is, so $129. And then we're also releasing 2 different versions, so we actually will have the Harman Kardon version as well. So with this, you're going to get much better quality sound, as well as it's going to be at $180 priced at. So competitive with the Amazon Echo, and then a couple other features. The Amazon Echo has 7 far-field microphones in it. With ours, we've added it up to 8 now.
Wow. So it can eavesdrop on you anywhere.
Exactly. Very creepily. And then there's also, we have a volume rocker on here as well. So you can go in and adjust it, whereas like Alexa, you kind of just have to yell at her until...
Volume up, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
And then I turn off the room 1 light.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have a Philips Hue Bulb in there. And so, she can control that as well as like the Harmony remotes or the Nest thermostats or anything like that.
All right, so here we are again at the Lenovo booth, CES 2017, with Dave from Lenovo, and he's going to show us some new ThinkPad stuff.
All right, so new for this year on our ThinkPad X1 Yoga. Our traditional yoga design has always had a lift and lock keyboard to make sure that users had a very good sensation once they moved into tablet mode. Brand new for this year, we've got a new wave keyboard. So essentially what this keyboard does is as you go into yoga mode, the keys actually will all sink down into the system and become flush with the system and lock, so that you don't get any kind of crazy sensation when you're in tablet mode from the other side of the system.
Nice. So totally deactivated, and now they're flush, and you didn't have to have the palm rest of the keyboard actually lift up. It's the keys themselves that sink in.
Exactly.
Cool. And that is the X1, what is that, the ThinkPad X1?
Yoga.
Yoga, gotcha. And we have a new Carbon, right, somewhere?
Absolutely. So also new for this year, from the ground up, we've built a brand new ThinkPad X1 Carbon. What do you do to improve the best business class notebook in the world? You make it thinner and lighter. So what we've done is we've shaved off about 1/4 pound, so starting at 2.5 pounds, about less than 16 millimeters thin. We've got narrow bezel design. We kept the camera at the top of the display. Very, very important for our users.
Yep.
One of the great things we've done with this, we actually have 2 Thunderbolt ports here, used for power, the system, docking, and other peripherals. We also have 2 USB Type A ports, full-size HDMI, and we have a mini RJ45 that gives you native Ethernet to the system.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
On the other side, the second USB Type A port, as well as a headphone jack.
Nice.
So again, now available in silver as well. So now we have 2 awesome colors for this X1 Carbon.
Nice. It's Kaby Lake processors on board,
Kaby Lake
7th gen?
processors. Exactly.
Nice. Really good stuff. And a little bit lighter now, right? Too, at
2.5 pounds.
5.
So we've got a great 52 watt-hour battery. Gives you up to 15 and a half hours of battery life with an FHD display. Up to an i7, 16 gig of memory, and a 1 terabyte PCIe SSD.
Any hope for OLED displays coming? Or is that
No plan
asking?
for OLED on this guy. We still have OLED on the X1 Yoga. So.
Right. Nice. Good stuff. The new
All right.
X1 Carbon, CES 2017. Thanks, David.